Hey, Coach, Ross Martin with Inside Carolina. I was wondering if you could kind of tell us a little bit about the three transfers you have individually, what you've seen from them so far, and kind of analysis of their game, what they're going to bring to Carolina this season.
Well, all three of them have just been fantastic on and off the court. Going into the summer, we looked at our team and just, what do we want and what do we need? We needed versatile bigs. We needed more depth. When I took the job, the only true big that we had was Armando. And so we needed more depth. We needed more versatility. After losing Garrison and Dayron and Walker Kessler, Armando needed some help. And, I couldn't have asked for three better players to join our team. I mean, Justin Mccoy, he's had 2 years at Virginia, and his versatility, being able to play on the wing and also at the power forward position. He's an outstanding defensive player, rebounder. From an offensive standpoint, he's a guy that can score inside and out. And I've always loved coaching those guys, and I hated playing against those type of guys. And then, fortunate enough to get Brady Manick. He was a 4-year starter at Oklahoma. I think there was a stat that nobody in Big 12 history over 6'7" has made more three-pointers than Brady Manick. And so now you have a guy with size at 6'9" that can stretch the floor, can give us spacing on the offensive end. He's a really good rebounder, outstanding passer. And over the summer in our practices and pickups and individual workouts, he's even more skilled than I thought he was. And so I'm just so excited to have him here at Carolina. And then Dawson Garcia, he was a guy that we recruited out of high school, and we thought we had a really good chance of getting him. And he went to Marquette, and we got a second try at him. And Dawson is another big that, from an offensive standpoint, just has tremendous versatility, being able to score around the basket and out on the perimeter. One of the things that people don't realize about Dawson is he's a lockdown defender. I mean, he can legitimately defend 1 through 5. And so from a defensive standpoint, that brings a lot of versatility to us. And all three of them are going to play a lot of minutes, and all three of them are going to be great for us this year.
And a quick follow-up. What is your approach now to recruiting transfers? You've obviously had 1 season doing it successfully. What's going to be this program's approach to that? And I know everything's really changing, so I was wondering your thoughts on that.
Well, it is changing. It's the transfer portal now that you don't have to sit out a year. It's it's here to stay, and it's an active part of our recruiting. It's something that we constantly look at. It's important for us not only bring in talented guys, but guys that are going to fit our program, our culture. And so, when people talk about, Justin and Brady and Dawson, they're Carolina guys. I mean, they've just gotten here this summer, but I feel like they've been here 3 or 4 years, the way that they have meshed with our other teammates, our staff, this university. They get it done in the classroom as well. And so it will be an active part of our recruiting, looking into the transfer portal, but it's got to be the right fit. And Justin, Brady, and Dawson are the right fit for us.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Josh Graham, then Michael Coe.
Hey, Coach. Thanks again for doing this.
Yeah.
Since you were hired, some news came down the road in Durham. What's your reaction to the succession plan they set up at Duke and your outlook on the future of the rivalry, with so much change happening right now?
Well, I just, Coach K, he's one of the best coaches of not just college basketball of any sport all time. Unbelievable coach, unbelievable leader, unbelievable innovator. And his career speaks for itself. I'm just so honored and thankful that I've been a part of that, Duke, North Carolina rivalry as a player, as an assistant coach, and now as a head coach. And it's to be a part of this rivalry is something special, and even more so to be able to play in it and be able to coach in it. And it is a privilege to play at that level, play against unbelievable competition as every year against Duke, and Coach K is one of the best coaches of all time in any sport and anywhere.
Michael Coe, then CL Brown.
Hey, Coach. So far in preseason, what have you seen from Dontrez and DeMarco? What has impressed you, and what do you think you'll need to work on before the season tips off?
Those guys have been extremely impressive. They've been fantastic. It's interesting, with DeMarco Dunn, because of COVID, the first time that I actually got to meet him in person and see him play in person was when he got here in the summer, in the second session of summer school. So I had never, I've seen tons of tape and talked to him and his family a number of times on the phone, Zoom calls, different stuff like that. But the first time actually in person was this summer. And for Dontrez, I hadn't seen him play in person in 2 years. And so having the ability to be on the floor with them, go through individual workouts, the practices that we've had, and see how they respond to the level of playing here at Carolina, they've been off the chart. They really have. I mean, their attitude, their effort, their attention to detail, their work ethic. They're always in the gym. They're always working hard. They listen. They want to be a part of this program and part of this team. And by the time that they leave Carolina, they're going to be one of the best players ever to play in Carolina history. I really believe that. I am so happy that Dontrez and DeMarco are here at North Carolina.
Thank you.
CL, then Andrew Jones.
Hubert, I was curious what the transition has been like over to the front, the first seat, now that you are the one making the final decisions on basically every aspect of the program moving forward. Were there any moments this summer where it kind of hits you like this is real?
Well, no, I mean, and you said it about decisions. I always, a lot of people ask me, what's the difference between being an assistant coach and a head coach? And, as an assistant coach, all day long, you're just making suggestions. What about this? Do you want to do this? And as a head coach, you're not making suggestions, you're making decisions. And that's the biggest difference. It's nothing about being a head coach. The last 5 months has been hard. It's been an adjustment, but it's been a great adjustment. And just working alongside the coaching staff with Coach Lebo and Coach Sullivan and Coach May and Coach Frederick and Coach Manuel, all those guys have the transition has made it easy. And when you've got great kids and great character guys on and off the court that I do and hang out with every day, it's really easy. And but the adjustment, the biggest thing is you're not making suggestions anymore, CL. You're making decisions. And I've been married 22 years, and I've got 3 kids. So I'm used to making some decisions.
And as a follow, I was curious with how important was it to get Jeff Lebo, to get somebody who has had experience as a head coach, kind of as a senior staffer, if you.
Well, I had to have him. He was the first person that I called when I got the job. And, Jeff was a senior my freshman year. And so we've been friends for a long time. And I've just always admired Jeff, even as a teammate and, as a friend and as a coach. He's been in the position a number of years of constantly making decisions. And I always believe that you have to have diversity in your staff, but you also have to have people on your staff that have been there before. And so to be able to bounce things off of Coach Lebo and he brings things to me that I don't see. And the reason why he can do that is because there's a huge difference in just moving over one seat. And, his suggestions, his take on different things and responsibilities that I have as a head coach is so valuable. I wouldn't be able to do this job without Coach Lebo. And I'm so glad that Jeff is here. He's a great friend and he's a great coach, and he is unbelievable to work with.
Thanks.
Andrew Jones is next. Just one FYI, some of you folks, if you're like the second, third person from the same outlet, I'm going to try and get through everybody, through the roll first before I come back to a second or third person. So Andrew Jones, then Brendan Marks.
Hey, Coach, you kind of hit the ground running as soon as you got the job. It seemed like it was a whirlwind for a while there for you. At what point were you able to kind of pump the brakes and have an opportunity to reflect? And when you did, what were a couple of the things you first reflected on?
I don't have any brakes. There are no brakes. It's all gas pedal. since April, was it April 5th? April, it's been pushed the gas pedal all the way down to the floor. And we have a little bit of time at the end of the second session of summer school. There was a couple of weeks before they came back for the fall semester that we were able to get away and just kind of catch our breath. But it's been a busy summer, but it's been a great one. I've just really enjoyed, getting to know all the players. I mean, and I did. I've always had a great relationship with them, but from a head coaching perspective, to be able to spend time with them and their family, really spend a lot of time with the transfers that have only been here this summer, and just trying to, put our staff together. And so, I don't know if there's ever been a time. I'll give you an example. We were at the beach, and my wife was like, my hope is that, this is a time where you can just take your mind off for everything, and that you can just relax, and you can feel like you're 100% on vacation. And so I turned to my wife and I said, I love you to death, but I just don't think this is a job where you can fully check out. There's something always going on, something that you're always thinking about. And so I don't know if I've pushed the brakes, but I've taken my foot off the gas a little bit over the last 5 months. But again, it's been a great summer, and I'm really excited to start this season.
I have another quick question. Could you kind of give us a snapshot of the roles and responsibilities of your assistants?
Well, everyone, one of the things that I, love about our assistants is they can do a number of different things. The Coach May and Coach Lebo and Coach Frederick, obviously those guys will, in terms of recruiting, those are the guys that are going to be on the road and be able to actively recruit off campus alongside myself. Coach Manuel and Coach Sullivan have just been absolutely fantastic. Their role is a number of different things, relationships with the players, game prep. They've been terrific in terms of aiding me and talking to me about, how we're going to play on both ends of the floor. Coach Emmanuel has been terrific with our guys in terms of consistently getting our guys out in the community and serving. And Coach Sullivan, with his 18 years of NBA experience, has been really neat. We have so many former North Carolina NBA players that come back in the summer and train here and prepare for the upcoming season. And all of them want to work out with Coach Sullivan, with his experience in the NBA and getting them ready. So we're us as coaches, like Coach Lebo, Coach Frederick, Coach May, and myself, we're like relentlessly on the floor, skill development with our guys. And then we've got Coach Manuel and Coach Sullivan relentlessly on the court, skill development with our NBA guys. And so it's just a really cool partnership out there. Everybody's on the floor, and it's just a lot of fun.
Brendan Marks, then Brett Friedlander.
Hey, Hubert. Brendan Marks from The Athletic. Thanks for doing this. You mentioned all the player development. When you first got the job and you were looking at the roster and what you had, what you still needed, what were some of the areas that you identified as, okay, we need to get better at these specific things? And then whether it's through personnel or through development, how have you gone about doing that so far?
Well, no, in terms of skill development, there's a number of things that are at the top of the list. And one of those things is skill development. I'm just huge on that. I just believe all of us, a huge responsibility for us is to be on the floor with our guys, relentlessly helping them get better. I always say for us as a team to get better, individually, each one of our players have to get better. And so in order to do that, we got to be on the floor helping them out. And I just, out of all the things, that I find joy in my job, being on the floor with the guys is the top of the list. So I just absolutely love that. But, in terms of, what we needed to do to get better, we didn't achieve all our goals last year. We wanted to win the regular season ACC, the tournament title, get to a Final Four, and win a national championship. So we didn't achieve all four of our goals. We need to get better. Obviously, we need to shoot the ball better. For a large part of the season, we were the last in the ACC in terms of percentage shooting the ball from 3-point range. That we need other guys that can shoot the ball other than Kerwin Walton. We need to take care of the basketball. We were last. We gave up more turnovers than anybody in the ACC. And so, just talking to our team about the importance and the value of taking care of the basketball and making the easy play has been huge. For me, one of the things that I do is always filter things through my own personal experience. And so one of the things that I tell the guys, it doesn't matter whether it's RJ and Armando. The only difference between those two guys is just size. I want them to be basketball players. And so I want to be able to put these guys in different positions where, Brady and Dawson are coming off ball screens. We got Kerwin posting up. I want them to be basketball players. I don't want them to be one-dimensional. So we can put them in different spots where they can be successful. So, in terms of what we needed to work on is just an overall skill set and get more talented and get better. And I just really feel like this summer we were able to achieve that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brett Friedlander, then Art Chansky. Brett, then Art.
Thanks. Hubert, it's said that the biggest improvement in players usually comes between the freshman and sophomore year. So how much does it help both Kerwin and Caleb now to have that season under their belt? And what have you seen from them this summer to kind of, work on their consistency, especially Caleb with his ball security?
Yeah, it is. With Caleb, with Kerwin, with RJ, there is a big jump between your freshman and sophomore year. You're aware of the skill, the level of play, the intensity, the preparation, the process that you have to play at this level to give yourself a chance to be successful. And, a lot of people don't understand, it's such a big transition coming from high school and playing at this level. And as talented as you are at high school, it's still a big adjustment. One of the things for like Kerwin, RJ, and Caleb, one of the things that they didn't have is they didn't have a Jeff Lebo. Like for myself, I came in as a freshman and I got to sit there and I was having a conversation with them a couple nights ago. I said, my freshman year, I wasn't a McDonald's All-American, but, I really didn't want to play my freshman year. I just wasn't ready. The pace was too fast for me. And it was such a huge benefit to see like Jeff Lebo, to see Steve Bucknell, see like older guys do it and see how they prepared, see how they practiced, see how they played. And it really gave me a great understanding of what I needed to do as a player in order to be successful. Caleb, RJ, and Kerwin didn't have that. I mean, they came on campus and put the ball in their hands, gave them the keys and said, hey, you're at North Carolina, let's go. And so they never had that older player to kind of help them along. And so having that experience as a freshman, coming back as a sophomore, you can see the confidence in both of them, their understanding of what it takes to be successful. And all three of them have improved so much. And I'm really excited to see the development from them from their freshman year to their sophomore year.
And as a quick follow-up, what are your expectations for Armando, both on the court and now as a guy who's been around for 3 years as a leader?
Well, he's got to be the leader of this team, on, off the court, in the classroom. And he's a guy that's been there before. And one of the things that I've talked about Armando is it is a burning desire for me, for him to experience Carolina that I experienced. I want him to be in big games and winning big games and in big time situations, for him to come through and feel like the last couple of years he hadn't been able to experience that, especially on a consistent basis. And, this year, one of the things that I talked about Armando was that, he has on all our guys, they want to all play in the NBA. And so I told Armando, in order for him to have a chance, obviously he's got to continue to make the jump that he made last year, but he's got to be able to shoot the ball from the outside. And this summer he has worked so hard on his outside shot, even all the way out to 3-point range. And that's something that we're going to encourage. We want his ability to be able to space the floor, be able to shoot the ball from the outside. And he did it a little bit last year, but he also has the ability to put the ball on the floor. And so my hope is, from an offensive standpoint, he won't go away from what made him successful last year, but he will show more versatility in what he can do on the offensive end.
Thank you very much. Best of luck this season.
Yeah, thank you.
Art Chansky, hang on one sec. We're just adjusting the shade. The sun came through there on Coach Davis.
Been
All
good.
right, perfect. There you go, right there, Hoots. Thank you. Art, go ahead.
Hey, Hubert, can I circle back to the Duke Carolina rivalry? You played your last regular season game at Duke, had 35. If the schedule holds up this year, you'll be playing in Coach K's last home game of his career. So I don't know if I don't know if it ever happened before, but when you had 35 at Duke, your last regular season game, it was the first time, only time that I ever saw the Duke crowd turn and cheer for you. Do you remember?
I don't remember that. You know what I remember is I remember that Christian Laettner was had 0 points in the first half, and then in the second half he went off. And so that's the only thing that I remember.
Well, you were lost in the game, obviously, with the way you were shooting, but the crowd did turn. That was the only Duke crowd I ever saw that cheered for an opponent. And it's a big transition in college basketball. But you'll get one last chance to play against Coach K at least twice. And I think it's a good way for him to go out and a good way for you to come in, don't you think?
I do. I really do. You know, it's when you think about being a part of this rivalry and, having a chance to compete against Coach K and Duke, as I said before, as a player, as an assistant coach, and now as a head coach, it really brings you to a place of humbleness, thankfulness, and appreciation. When you're a part of a rivalry like this and get to play in games like this and this type of atmosphere, it's things that you do remember for the rest of your life. And these two games this year, I've told our guys this, the two most watched teams in the country this year, 1 and 2, or 1A and 1B, is going to be Duke and North Carolina. It's going to be must-watch TV. And so I said, I've told our team, the reason why I'm telling you that is not to make you nervous or to put more pressure on you. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to be in this position. It's going to be a lot of fun to have all eyes on our players and playing in these big games and watching them perform under the lights in this situation.
Got time for the 5 people whose hands are raised right now. One question, knock them out pretty quick. Grant Hughes, then Dina.
Hey, Coach Davis, could you tell us what kind of midnight event you plan on hosting and whether it'll bear any similarities or what the differences will be between that and late night with Roy?
You know what? I don't know. You're going to have to ask Eric Hoops on that. He's in charge of putting late night together. And one of the things that he told me, and I had a couple suggestions, and he backed up and said, "Look, this is the first time, your first late night. We've got it. We really want to celebrate you." And as much as I love late night, celebrating just me, that's just not my personality. I love celebrating this program, putting all the light on the kids and on the players, and that's what I want. But I have no idea what's going to be happening as of now for late night, but I know it's going to be a great celebration. It's something that we missed last year. It's always been a great start to our season. I know our players really enjoy it, and I'm excited for the first time being a head coach to be a part of it, and just to celebrate our kids and our guys and just get excited for this new season. It'll be a lot of fun.
Dina,
There'll
then
be
Greg
some
Hall. Excuse me, Coach.
That's okay.
Dina, then Greg Hall.
Hey, Coach. Dina King, Tar Heel Illustrated. Just was wondering how the returning players received the transfers, especially Dawson, who came in a little bit later than the other guys.
No, it's been great. And, actually all three, Justin and Dawson and Brady, have individually come to me and commented that they've been shocked and surprised at the interaction from the former players. They actually, Dawson came up to me and he was like, "I can't believe they knew my name." So, Luke May, Nasir Little came in last week, Dayron Sharp, Kobe White, Justin Jackson. I mean, everybody. We've had over 35, probably over 40 former Carolina players that have played professionally, played in the NBA, that have come back this summer. And the interaction between them and our current players and our 3 transfers has just really made them feel at home. One of the things that there's so many unbelievable programs around the country, but having 3 transfers come from other great programs, and for them to come into this place and see the uniqueness and how special this place is, it just really confirms, what Carolina is all about. And as much as we are an unbelievable program, we're also unique. And it's been great to see the relationships built so quickly with our former players and our current players, and even our transfers feeling like they've been here for a couple of years. And so that's what it's all about. We always talk about relationships and family, and, a lot of people, just talk about it or put it on shirts, but it's backed up by reality here. And it's been great seeing the relationships built between our current guys and our former players here as well.
Thank you.
Last 3 questions. Make them quick, please. Greg Hall.
Hey, Hubert. I was just curious, Puff Johnson's development and return from injury and kind of how he's going in that process.
Yeah, he's getting there. It's been a little slow in terms of his recovery, but the great thing about it is we're headed in the right direction. Puff is off the chart type of kid, and unfortunately got injured last year and didn't get a chance to really play and develop. And we're hoping to see that once practice starts September 28th. He's a guy that possesses tremendous size and versatility, and he can do a number of things on the floor. And, one of the things that I was really surprised at last year before he got injured is that he was an outstanding offensive rebounder. And so with his size and his length, he can do a number of things out there on the floor. And, as I mentioned before, I love guys that have versatility. They're not just stuck on one thing. They only can play one position. Puff is somebody that we can put in a number of different spots, and he can be successful at. And my hope is that from a health standpoint, he can get to a point where he can compete, and he can show us that versatility and be able to use it out there on the floor. But I'm so happy he's here. He's a great kid, and he's getting healthier every day.
Last 2, Ross, then Josh.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering why Kendall Marshall was not retained on staff, or if you kind of give us an insight on kind of what happened there.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to do on staff is, I wanted to have, versatility, and one of the things that I wanted is what I wanted to embody, the coaching careers of Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge and also Coach Williams. And, I wanted guys here that had the experience of playing for Coach Smith. I wanted people on staff that had the experience of playing for Coach Guthridge, and wanted the experience, obviously, of the guys that had played for Coach Williams. And I just wanted to give our current guys just a full body menu of what Carolina's all about. For all of us, what binds us together is our shared experiences at Carolina, but there's also some, differences, and because of personality, and in terms of Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge and Coach Doherty and Coach Williams. And I felt like that diversity in the staff would be absolutely terrific, great for us. One of the things that is hard is that, you can't put everybody on staff. And there's so many great Carolina guys that had to be a staff of former Carolina players, because I've always believed that I wanted people that have experienced this place and have played here and have gone to school here. And unfortunately, not just Kendall Marshall, George Lynch, Brian Reese, Scott Williams, CB McGrath. There are just a number of unbelievable people, unbelievable players here that were unbelievable coaches. And unfortunately, we can't have a staff of 100 former players. And but Kendall Marshall, the 3 years that I worked with him, I loved it. He was an unbelievable and outstanding player. And he was such a pleasure, and it was great working with him the last 3 years.
Last question, Josh.
Coach, I know you've been out at Mac Brown's practices a few times, and there's some symmetry there. You both worked at ESPN, both were around in the 90s and are here today. What kind of relationship do you two have, and have you learned anything from Coach Brown over the years?
No, we have a great relationship. You know, he was here at Carolina, you know, when I was here as a student. And then when he went to Texas, we spent a lot of time together because, you know, at the time I played for the Dallas Mavericks for 4 years. And so um, every Saturday, my wife and I used to drive down to Austin. He would give us tickets and we became Texas Longhorn football fans. And so we were cheering him on. And then after the game, we would hang out with him in his office. And then to say he's back here at Carolina and they were both head coaches here, it's just, it's been a long relationship. I look up to Coach Brown. He's an unbelievable person. He's a better person than he is coach, and he's a great coach. And, you know, one of the things that's interesting, it was the day of my press conference. And when I went to go visit and see their practice, and he said something, I don't know if he understands how much it meant to me and how much it's changed my thought process in terms of conditioning with our guys. And, you know, one of the things he just happened to say this, he said, you know, if our guys in our practice is designed to be our conditioning. And so if we go as hard as we can at practice, then I don't need to run them after practice. And he just easily said that. And I came back to our guys and I said, look, how about this? I said, I will never run you a 33 if you give this team and this program everything that you have out there on the basketball court. And I said, our practices will be designed to condition you during practice. And if you go 100% in practice, I'll never run you sprints after practice. And so all the guys were like, hey, this is awesome. Where'd you get this from? And I said, I got this from Coach Brown. And so till this day, the times that we have practiced, we have not had to run sprints because the guys have given this program and their teammates in this team everything that they've had out there on the floor. And that's just one thing that I got from Coach Brown. And we were just sitting there talking for 10 minutes at practice. It was the day of my press conference. So he's helping me and he doesn't even know he's helping me.